Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. There's a lot of articles have been written about pairings of alcoholic beverages with cigars, and that's a great thing. Nothing wrong with that. So today I'm going to talk about non-alcoholic pairings because I know there's a lot of people from getting comments and talking to people that drink non-alcoholic beverages with their cigars. So what I'm going to do is go through all the categories that I can think of these NA beverages and talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. And then I'm going to give you 6 of my very favorite cigar NA pairings. First and foremost is water. And water is a simple thing. And the nice thing about water is that you get the unadulterated flavor of the cigar that way. And a lot of people want that. Yeah, you're cooling off your palate a little bit between puffs. And there's really 2 different choices in water, just regular tap or bottled water, or else you can do something like Pellegrino or something like that and be a little bit fancier. The next thing I want to talk about is tea and coffee. I see a lot of people who like their morning cigar with hot coffee, and I think that's great. I've enjoyed that myself. But later in the day, hot coffee may not seem like appropriate, especially if it's a warmer day. One thing I want to turn you on to, if you aren't aware of it, is cold brew. And cold brew isn't the same as iced coffee. It's like night and day, frankly. Cold brew is where they brew the coffee for long periods of time, maybe a day almost, in a very cool temperatures, refrigeration type temperatures. So it comes up with a different flavor, very rich. And I've actually experimented with brewing my own, which is okay, but it's a lot of work. And so I buy the bottled stuff. And if you're looking into that, I always buy the one that's on sale, which there usually is one of them. So I'm not very brand loyal. They're all kind of the same and all very good. Another favorite of mine is iced tea. I really enjoy iced tea, or sweeten it up a little bit and make it an Arnold Palmer with some lemonade in it. And that is definitely one of my favorites on a hot summer day. Let's talk next about NA beer. And there's all kinds of NA beers, almost every brand of beer. And this isn't Euro Dual stuff anymore. I think that kind of gave NA beer a bad rap. But most of the big brands, like this one is Stella, has a brand of NA beer available. Go to your local grocery store or liquor store that sells beer, and chances are they have a pretty good NA section with some choices. Okay, let's move on to my favorite category, which is carbonated soft drinks. And I'm going to go through some of these and the advantages and disadvantages of them. For some reason, my area of expertise appears to be carbonated soft drinks. Let's start with like 7-Up and Starry and Sprite, which are all of the same lemon lime ilk. And they're definitely pretty good, but for my taste, they're a little bit too sweet. They can be pretty refreshing on a hot day, and I've tried them, and they aren't bad, but they aren't really fantastic. I'm going to talk about 2 in the next category, which is ginger ale and Diet Coke. And I think these are good with everything, but not great with everything, if that makes any sense. You can drink those with just about any boldness of cigar or any flavor profile, and they'll be pretty good, but there's ones that are a lot better. My top 3 choices for this are cream soda, Dr. Pepper, and root beer. And cream soda is pretty good. It can be a little sweet at times, but it has a nice tangy flavor that really goes well, especially with a mid-body or maybe even a mild cigar. So that's definitely one to keep in mind. And as you look at these brands, I'm showing pictures of some national brands because I know everybody can get those. But there's other ones. You can look for your local brand of, this one happens to be root beer from a local brewery. So there's plenty of that stuff available if you want to be a little bit fancier and go beyond the dad's root beer and A&W root beer and that kind of stuff. We're putting cream soda basically in 3rd place. 2nd place for me is Dr. Pepper. And speaking of 2nd place, did you know Dr. Pepper was recently named the #2 selling soft drink in the US, behind Diet Coke, but ahead of Pepsi? And I've seen a lot of comments from cigar smokers that they like Dr. Pepper, as do I. It's really good. It has enough sweetness and enough cherry undertone. It really goes well with cigars. I would definitely encourage you to try it. And all these have sugar-free counterparts or sugar counterparts, depending on what your taste is. All right, last but not least is my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite too, and that is root beer. Root beer is good. There's so many different good brands of root beer, and it goes really, really well with a cigar, especially medium to medium full-bodied cigars. If you haven't experienced root beer yet with a cigar, give it a try. It's pretty darn good. And as always, I'm anxious to hear your comments. If I missed something, let me know. Or if you have a favorite that you want to point out, I'm anxious to hear that. Okay, let's talk about my 6 favorite pairings of all. Mil Diaz by Crown Heads, good cigar, medium body, and I like that one with Dr. Pepper. I think it's a great match for Dr. Pepper, and it's a great cigar to try. Another medium body cigar is an Oliva O, and I like that with a good NA beer. The Oliva O kind of has that taste profile that really goes well with the beer. And the next is my favorite, which is root beer, with a couple of EP Carrillo cigars. One is a La Historia, and the other is the Pledge. And those are pretty full-bodied cigars, so they really pair well with root beer. Next one gets into one of my other favorite beverages, and that's an Arnold Palmer. And I like that with a Perdomo champagne. It, iced tea isn't very heavy. It's kind of light and crispy and refreshing, especially with a lemonade mix with it. So it's a good match for the Perdomo champagne. Another good pairing I have with a mild cigar is Southern Draw Rose of Sharon. And I like that one with cream soda. It's really a good match. The Rose of Sharon has a little bit of spice to it, and the sweetness of that cream soda kind of offsets it. Last but not least is the Oliva V Milanio, and I love to pair that with cold brew mixed with a little Starbucks creamer. So if you want to dip your toe in cold brew and have a cigar with it, pick up a bottle of Starbucks creamer while you're at it, and I think you're going to enjoy that. All right, that's all I got for today. Whatever you drink, enjoy it. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you next time from Cigars, Cigars, Cigars.